Hello guys! So what we are doing tonight, and I'm saying tonight because it's just a few minutes after midnight. I've been in a webinar and it was an American webinar, so times, yeah, you know. Today we're going to do two things. First off, I want to show you some of the papers, how they turned out. That a coffee dyed the other day. And then secondly, we're going to talk about some cheap supplies you can use for your junk journals, for your card making, for your scrapbooking, for your art journals, for your like stuff like that, because we like cheap stuff, you know. We like to use cheap material to make exquisite, expensive, gorgeous, amazing stuff, right? Perfect gifts. Anyway, I'm gonna have a little sip on my now cold tea. Yummy. Okay, so let's talk about the papers first. First off, don't do like me. I didn't realize how much paper I was actually doing at once. Because this was not it. This is just a little part of it. This is only the regular copy paper, like you use for your printer and copies and stuff like that. We also did little fabric. We also did little tassels. We also did these in-betweeners from the big tea box. What's it called? Like when you buy a big tea box, and these are in between. So we did those, and they're really different on each side. See how light this is? This is interesting, and I have no idea why that happened. So that's weird. Then there was some of these. They're not post-it notes. They're just little notes, little very flimsy, thin notes. But I feel they would make pretty backgrounds. They have a pale yellow color normally, and now they are slightly darker, slightly grungier. And a ton of book pages. Now this is the book from the 70s, and for some reason some of the pages are dark on one side and light, and you see this? Now this made me drool and dribble. You see the edges? I love this. Ooh, it looks almost burnt, and it's because the edges dried so early and the paper stayed wet for a lot longer because I did such a big pile, which wasn't meant to. But I kept going after the video and just kept dying. And the edges got dark, and it just kept sucking the coffee out, and they turned almost black. Oh my god, I love this. I love this. Anyway, each their own. So we did those and did a whole bunch of little notebooks. I just thought I did a few. Now here's the thing. I was wondering, as it was drying and I was taking off layer and let it dry and taking off next layer and let that, and I was like, it's a never ending story. It just keeps going. And I realized, oh no, I did all the papers. I had picked out papers for two batches. One that I was going to do for the coffee and one that I was going to do for the red tea that I still have it. And I did all the papers in coffee. So now I have to pick out new papers for the tea dyeing because that's happening tomorrow. Or actually it's 5 minutes past midnight. So today, anyway. And then we did these book pages. That's from the 1940s something book. And look at this. Wow. What do you think? Now here's the funny part. You see how dark it is here? That side is really light. I mean, compared to the original Wester book. So here's some of the non-dyed book paper. So, yeah, hang on. Getting tangled. Okay, so, sorry. Here's some of the book pages. So compared to that, you can see it's definitely coffee dyed. And remember, this is from the 40s, so it's slightly yellowed compared to really white paper. So it's already yellowed, but compared to this. But this is gorgeous, isn't it? Now, we got these patterns due to putting stuff in between, like lace and stuff like that. That was a plastic lace, and this one for some reason went through several layers. This one didn't even quite translate to both pages of this paper. No clue why. I'm thinking it has something to do with the thickness of because this lace, not lace, crocheted tablecloth was quite thick, so I think it has something to do with that. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that was those. I'm going to put these away before I forget what I'm doing. Here's the weekly planner, and this was also something interesting. So I used the stencils, the plastic stencils, you know, that regular crafting stencils, and this one went through several layers of stuff, and I didn't think it would go through this, but it actually did. Didn't go all the way through, but very interesting. Some stuff that I thought, oh my god, this is not going to leave an imprint, left amazing imprint. Here you can see some of the crocheted tablecloth. Keep losing words, but here you can see it better. But it's still, you know, it's sharper. You can see the image sharper in the camera actually than in real life. It's more faded, but I still love this. I love this. And this one, I like really, like almost splotchy. I mean, I can still, since I know what it is, I can still, yeah, on the camera it shows up really well. You can see the crochet pattern. But in real life it looks really splotchy, and I love that. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I really love that. Okay. Now we come to the little oopsie, and I was kind of aware that this might happen. So let me just move some stuff around here. I think it's out so much stuff because I have so much to show you. So remember I said I thought that there were some paper that were recycled paper, and I seem to be right. This one surprised me. This was the paper that kept getting stuck to things, and it's the regular like college notebook paper, and it got stuck to, I don't know if you can tell that there's a lot of paper residue on it. So this one I had to like literally rip off, and you see there's some residue from it on here too. This one I ripped completely because it got so stuck. It just didn't want to. Here's like these. I did not expect these to do that. So yeah, the lined notebook paper was no bueno, and it got stuck to this regular copy paper, and it got stuck to, I had this what did I call it, acrylic oil color pad, and I thought this one would be the problem, but all the others of these are okay. It was just when this came in contact with that lined paper, this happened. And this one is regular copy paper, and it got ripped because it got stuck. And this is book page that got stuck, and it was the college paper. And I checked on the pad, yes, it was recycled paper. So for some reason I'm having issues with recycled paper. A friend of mine said it can also be how long they have to lay together to dry. So if you dry it faster, it's less of a problem. So let's do, we need to pick up the speed here. Okay, so did we look? Yeah, we checked on these, right? Yeah, I showed you the amazing edges here. I mean, I got those fabulous edges on. Look at this. That's pretty. I got that amazing edges on some of the copy paper too. So let me just do a little quick flip here. I love that. That was the lace curtain. Does it show up? Yeah, you can even see the little cross thingies here. So happy about that. And this was what I was talking about when I leave other papers on top and kind of differently. So I get different parts of, I don't know, it doesn't show up on camera as well. But I'm just really happy about this. But here we have like the really dark edges because they was poking out. So this is probably one of the papers. No, it was one of those that they stamped through with the staple when they closed the package. But I have others like this one. You see how dark it is? This is not a hole. This is just it was hanging out. So this is one that I will definitely iron, and I will imagine printing out a map on this. It's going to be pure pirate. And it looks really light right now, but let me compare it to real white paper. Now you see the difference. This is delicious. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, look at this. And this was, I believe this is from an embossing folder that I use as a stencil. So I just slapped it in there for a chance, and it left patterns. Here, let's see if you can see. Yeah, here you can see where I have put stuff on top. So you get different layers, and then you get different color variations, and I really like that effect. This one's even clearer. So that's why I'm on purpose move stuff and put them on top of each other and let it self-dry, because I get more effect when it's self-dry. I got a bit impatient, and I did pick out the hairdryer for a little bit for a few of them, but it got so boring I just left it again. This is what it looked like under the you know, the one where you keep the carpets from slipping. Hang on, I have it right here. Let me get it. Come here. Come here. This guy. You know, the ones that you put on the floor to under the carpet to keep them from slipping. And I got this effect, and I really like it. I'm so happy with this paper batch. It turned out so great. I really like this. And if you want more even paper, do fewer layers. Just do 1, maybe 2 layers. Let them dry a bit faster. Maybe put a fan on them, then they dry more even. Let's see, I had some more. Yeah, here. That's another stencil that I put on, and I found that really fitting. But again, the back side is a lot lighter. I'm not sure why this happened, actually. Here's another stencil with the hearts. I have no clue what happened there. I love it. I absolutely love that, but I have no clue what happened. I was watering plants, and I have a big plant on top here that's hanging from the ceiling, and I might have spilled on it. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, I have no idea how that happened, but I love it. Some of these I'm going to try and do some other techniques on, like the spray technique. Do we have anything else that's super interesting? That's another stencil. And even the ones that are look on the phone really bright, here's another one of those that are super dark on one side and so light on the other. But still, if you compare it to the original paper, you can see how dark it is. It's just happened to be a lot darker on one side. And I love this because you get a lot of variation. We put this in a journal. Imagine you folding this, and you don't get 2 pages that look, ooh, I like what happened there. Yeah. Anyway, so you don't get 2 pages that look the same, and I love that. Some people don't, I do. So I'm really happy how this turned out. Here are some of these that are salvageable. I managed to save some of them, but most of them got stuck and ripped and just gross, but I managed to save a few. Not too impressed. Won't do them again. Here are the ones, the copy paper with the holes in them. And those were also, already when I was dipping them in the coffee, I don't know if you noticed, but when I pulled them out, they wanted to tear for some reason. The other copy paper, I checked the weight. It's the same weight and everything, but this one really wanted to break just when. So I think this part here is when I just lifted up of the coffee, and it just broke on me. It was so fragile. That also made it really fragile, but quite a few of them survived anyway, so I'm happy about that. This is one that, you know, it's left over. It's just some residue. This one that broke. Nothing too exciting. They're beautiful. I love them, but nothing too exciting there. This one, however, oh my God, love it. Love this so much. It's lighter again on the underside, but it's lovely. And here's the watercolor paper that I did. It turned a different shade of brown. I don't know how well you can tell, but the watercolor paper almost turned slightly pink. It doesn't quite show up on camera. And I don't know why. It turned different shades of pink. So here we have, this part here is pinkish. I don't know, it doesn't really pick up on camera, but this part is pinkish and this part is more grayish brown. Very interesting, very funny. No clue why this happened. And here's a pet hair again. So this part again is kind of grayish brown, while this is more pinkish brown, and it's so funny. I have no idea why. Now these are the ones that I left the dry lace on, and the dry lace did not get very much stain at all on them. So that's interesting, and it also didn't leave much of a pattern. However, where I put the wet lace, I got more pattern. And here are the acrylic oil paper that, and this was under the crochet, the pink crochet, and the pink came through. So this one again, all the dots turned pink. Interesting, because that not blanket, not cushion, tablecloth. Thank you. That tablecloth is washed multiple times, so it shouldn't leave color on other things. And here is where I left one of the wet one I did, the wet lace I did. I did one of these that I dipped in the coffee I put on, and that's that. So I might do that next time. Here again is that anti-slip thingy, and that's the lace. Pretty, huh? I like that. The coffee paper, however, didn't get much of anything. This one turned a bit blotchy, but the rest of them are quite even in color. I think it's because they dry very even. So, but it didn't pick up much of a pattern from anything. This one again was under the crocheted tablecloth. If you don't remember, let me get it. It's right here. I'm getting everything at once. So it was this one, and I'm gonna dye it anyway, so I might as well use it for this before I do that. So it's this one, and as you can see, it's quite thick, and yeah, it didn't quite work as I planned, but I have bought some new lace curtains that I'm gonna test next time. So we talked about those papers, and this I think I showed you. Oh my god, I love this. How pretty is this? But then again, also really light on this side, but still darker than the original. This is the original book. So still a lot darker on one side, and it's so interesting. And you see here it turned almost yellow. Here it's kind of grayish, and then all of a sudden it's really yellow, and this part here is delicious when it turns like this. I love this. I'm drooling. I love this. I'm happy. I'm so happy how everything turned out. And it wasn't as much that got stuck as I thought. Here's are the receipts. These didn't get stuck at all. I totally expected them to get stuck to everything, but they didn't. And again, you see the color difference between one side and the other, and also the edge. So this was on the top side, so it was like peeking out underneath everything else, so it dried really fast, and that drew the moisture there. Okay, so let's put those aside. That's what we dyed. So tomorrow I'm going to do the tea dyeing, but first we're going to talk about cheap art supplies. So I'm going to put a little link down below. Not a link, but a little timestamp below, a timestamp in the comment section and in the description that shows you when this starts. Okay, but you already know that because you must have seen that or you wouldn't be here. I don't know. I don't know. So let's start with the obvious. I have a pet here in my tea, by the way. These little tags. Really cute to use when you're crafting. Take it easy. It's kind of funny. So that's a really cheap art supply. Since you're drinking tea, you can just cut them off. Or if you know a tea drinker, tell them to cut these stuff off. It doesn't have to be like super fancy or cute like this. Or they're just really fun supply to use in scrapbooking and junk journaling and like everything to put in between. A lot of times we layer stuff on top of each other, so you might not see the whole thing, so it doesn't matter. Sometimes they have flowers on them, sometimes, you know, it's just the tea brand or whatever it is, but they're always cute to use in crafting. Let me have another sip. Yes. And then, like I said, I love dark edges, and Distress ink is kind of expensive for my taste, but I bought these two secondhand. Now I've been playing around with my ignore the glitter. I've been playing. So this is Brushed Chardonnay and Vintage Photo, and just two tiny ones, and they lasted me really long. And then you can buy a refill. That I think that's the cheapest stamping stuff you can get. Like buy the small ones and get a refill bottle and just dip on it if you need to. I still haven't needed a refill, and I've been using them for a while. If you don't want to use that, you can use coffee just and put it on the sides of, but then you have to leave it to dry before you can like use it. But you can put just coffee on the edges of the project that you're working on, or tea dyeing, coffee dyeing. Is quite cheap way to change up your papers and make them more interesting for backgrounds. Let me show you something that I did with this type of stuff. So this is a bookmark. I haven't put the little threads up here yet. Now this one is from an old mushroom book. Unfortunately, I was using the pages and all of that, and I didn't scan them. I didn't take copies of them. I didn't do anything. So I ran out. Luckily, I found the same book again. So I actually trying to buy that. We'll see if that happens. The background here, the brown part, you can use any of the coffee dyed papers or anything like that if you want to. But this is actually shipping material. Like, hang on, let me see if I can reach it. That one I did not prepare. So it's just this shipping material. I use this shipping material myself, so I buy them in bulk quite cheap. But I'm sure you ordered something and you get something like this in, and just save it, fold it up, put it away for later. So using your shipping material, I mean, you can get these in, what's that called? Silk paper? I don't know. But you can get that really cheap. So I just decoupaged it on top here. And then inked the edges. And as you can see, here's like from an old book. And I inked the edges. I think I coffee dyed the paper too. Yeah, I think so. I coffee dyed the paper of the book and I inked the edges. This is actually a freebie from Nick the Booksmith. So I can't sell this because it's not for commercial use. And since this is not something I'm going to sell, I also did a photocopy of a sticker I had. Actually handmade, and the flower is stickers that I had. And I just took a photocopy and printed it out, cut it out, inked it. So I'm reaching for stuff here. So the other day I spent a little time, and I always save the envelopes. If I get an envelope with a lot of stamps or something fun stamps, so I steamed off the stamps. So I steamed the envelope and gently peeled off. Now some of them I wrecked, but they're gonna be okay when I glue it down on something. So I got a lot of free stamps there to use for projects like this. I can't find my own bookmark because my own bookmark is somewhere and I have a stamp like this on it. Now, if you're not going to use it for commercial use or anything, you can also just print them out on paper, or you can just take your coffee dyed paper, iron it so it runs to your printer, and print these out on coffee dyed paper. And then you get like the brown, raggedy, oldish finish on them. And then, since we are using book pages, you can also use the book cover for making new journals. So I'm using the book pages to make ephemera and to make cards and to make bookmarks and stuff like that. And I reuse the book cover for making new journals or notebooks or whatever I feel like. So I just gently cut out the guts of the book. Where else? I put out, yeah, okay. When we're talking about stamps, also I found that a lot of people sell stamped stamps. So these are used stamps, a lot of them. And I bought these quite cheap actually. And I have a ton of stamps. These are gonna last me like years, I think. So I might share some. I made some crafting bundles and I put them on my Tradera page. And I might make some more and put some stamps in them because these are really cute. And you can use them for so much. Little decorations and stuff. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to starting to craft again. But tomorrow I'm dyeing paper again. Apart from finding cheap used stamps, you can ask your parents, your friends, your everyone that get mail, basically. Hi, do you have anything with stamps on? Go through your boxes, your drawers. I'm sure you saved an envelope or something. You can also rip the envelope around the stamp and ink it and use like the envelope with the stamp on it. Or you use the whole envelope in journals. It's really fun. It's really cute. Now, I was talking about the book cover that you can use for books and when you make journals and stuff. And I'm going to give you a few more examples of stuff you can use for journals. I'm just going to find them because I put them here and they drown in the mess. So here are some. How cute is this for a little journal? It's a bit tiny journal. Yeah, a little, So this one I sanded off a little bit just to get the worst of the gloss off to make the glue stick better. For these, you can make like little small notebooks and you can use these for cover. So these are just candy wrappers. These are small little bags with candy and they're quite sturdy. So if you glue a paper on the inside and like make that to cover to a small little notebook or something, that would be really cute. Here's just a box. This is the gluten-free flour I use. You can use a cereal box. You can use any type of box. This will make a chunkier journal, or you can cut the spine off and put your own spine in, any size you want and just use the sides, and I cut along the edges. That way I know the sides are just as big. Now I need to trim this a little bit, but apart from that, I know this to this is about the same size because I just cut off this little part here. Okay. Here's a soap box, so I cut off this part, and that part, and I sanded it and scraped it to make it rougher for the glue to stick. And there I have a little small journal cover. It's not the full journal, but just little ideas to stuff that you might not think about that you can use for journal covers. I have the cutest. Oh, I need to show you this. These are so cute. I have these little mini Smarties and I cut them already. How cute will this be? Because I sanded one of them already to make the glue adhere better. How cute are these? Mini Smarties. So I just cut this side off, this side, and that side, and I have a bunch of mini journals to make from these. Now, my friend's daughter absolutely loved when I make these small books and small journals that are like this big or smaller even, and she loves them. Other things you can do is there are some people there that make free printables that you can use. Nick the Booksmith have a few of them. But again, remember, it's not for commercial use, it is for private use. And I already showed you that you can do the stamps. Just print it out, take copies. And this was from a vintage mushroom book. I could have printed these onto coffee dyed papers or something, just regular paper, and just dye it with with this. Okay, it's way past midnight, so excuse me. Okay, and then we have something that is very super cheap, and I'm sure you can fix this yourself. I'm just going to show you one because I have a whole bunch of them here, and I'm about to make more. So here's a book, a thick book, and it has stuff in it. Do you see that? So what this is just pressing flowers, or in this case it's grass. So yeah, can you see me? Yeah, so this is just grass. I'm putting them there, and I just put another paper on top, and I close it, and then put something heavy on top, and it will get pressed. That way I have pressed flowers and pressed leaves and grass, and it's so pretty to use. You can use them for making what are they called? Like they make the fake handmade paper, where you kind of take a copy paper and you put some, you know, little seeds or flowers or like tea. You know, when you had the tea, you let the tea bag and the tea dry. Then you can use the bag itself. You rip it open and you use that one for crafting and gluing and making layers. And then you make the tea, like the leftover tea bits. You put it on the paper. You can put some thread in there. You can put like everything. Then you put a sheet of tissue paper on top, and you get this faux handmade paper kind of thing. It's really pretty. You can use it for cards, you can use it for tags, you can use it for scrapbooking, you can use it for journal covers, you can use it for like everything. So useful. So tea bags, you can use the tag, you can use the bag, you can use the tea, and you can even use the string. So tea, yes. Coffee, absolutely. So what I do when I press flowers is simply I leave a little. I don't want the flowers to be too close because the moisture content will be too high. So then I put one piece of paper. It's just regular toilet paper. Now it's been a few hours since I picked these, so they're not looking their best. And I find it easier, so you can see this wants to like curl up like that, so I find it easier to put the curl downwards. So I just take different kinds of leaves, different kinds of grass and flowers and all kinds of stuff. Since it's been a few hours since I picked them, they don't look the best, so I'm not going to put that one in there. I was hoping to do this earlier, but I ran out of time before the webinar, and once the webinar was going, so you see this is different type of leaf. This is more furry, this is more shiny. So I'm going to put a few of those there. Let them dry. Then when I put a little bit on the paper, I don't want to put too much because again, moisture content. Then I put another paper, I flip like a little bit on the book, and I put another layer in. And so I keep going until the book is full. I close the book, put it on the shelf, put more books on top to press it down. And most of us has books in our home, or you can find it on secondhand, or you can ask your grandma, or you can ask your friends for a few books. Make sure it's books they're not really like, oh, I really treasure this book, because sometimes the paper can wobble. If you put too much moisture, put too wet plants in there, so the pages can wobble. And then after they've been drying, I don't know, I just leave them in there, forget about them, and then once fall comes or winter comes, I just, oh, I have pressed flowers. And then I have stuff like this. Now for this one, I seem to have made mostly leaves. And they're really flat, they're really nice to craft with, and you can put them, you can take a paper, you glue this on, and then you can take tissue paper and put it on like a decoupage on top to keep the plant in, or you can laminate them and cut around them. You can, you know, all sorts of stuff to make it craft. Let me see if I have any flowers. I seem to mostly have leaves this time. No, here we come, here we come. So yeah, like that. There's some flowers here. Like I said, I don't try not to put too many in between, and then I try and store them too with the papers because they're really fragile. So here we have some smaller. Now some of these are several years old because I keep forgetting about them, and they are so cute, and you can do so many things with them. If you're into resin, if you're doing resin work, you can use the dried flowers in the resin. Here we have some other flowers, different types. So I have made, like, I have 3 books, and I pick just a little bit every time I go walk the dogs, just a few, and I do a book or so when I come in, and it's a really cheap way to make it. Then we have, when you're making tags, you kind of want a thicker paper. Now I believe this paper, however, is a mixed media paper. I'm not sure. It kind of feels like it has a different texture to it. I think this might be a mixed media paper, but I was thinking if it was this acrylic paper, but it has less of a texture. It is very textured, but it has less of a texture than, see that texture? I love that. So I love using papers like this when I make tags, but you don't have to buy papers like this or buy cardstock, because I don't want them too thick, because I always glue stuff on top of them, and then if I have too many thick, super thick stuff, the journals are gonna go crocodile on me, all of them. I mean, most of them do anyway, because I keep putting lace and things in them, and you know, but if I do it like straight away, they're gonna mouth off at me a lot sooner. With the grass, however, let me see if I can find one of those. Maybe I didn't pick one of those this time. No, I didn't. I can put 2 together and kind of show you. So some grasses, they kind of, where am I there? Kind of droop down. So grass, you can dry them upside down. Just put them in the bundle, dry them upside down, and then gently just take them apart when they're dry. However, I prefer to press them, because then I can make the little strands kind of come out to the sides and stay that way. And then when I put it on the paper, they make a really nice frame when you're gonna glue it to something. So you have like maybe something that looks like, no, it's really doinky. It's really doing, springy and stuff. But you can make it dry this way. And it also makes it a lot flatter, which saves space in your journals and for your card makings or whatever you make. Now, usually I don't make them stick out. So you can see the previous book they did, but that was because I put my scissors somewhere again. I keep losing my scissors. I have so many scissors, and they're never there when I want them. Now, as you can see, there's so many different types of grass, and you can make so many fun things. You're really far away. Let's zoom in a bit. Yeah. So do you see all the different textures? So you can make very different things with these. You can make them cover a full page. You can take off a few parts, put in the corner. But for the drying process, I try to keep them as whole as possible. But I usually take off the part that sticks out of the book. But if you press them like they become flatter, of course, than if you dry them upside down. Also, for some reason, the seeds keep to stick better at them. Oh, we're really zoomed in. Let's go out again. So yes, that was a few tips for cheap art supplies, and also showed you a little bit of the coffee dyeing. So I won't be filming when I tea dye the paper, but I will get back to you when it's dried, and so I can show you what it looks like. And hopefully the new lace curtains that I bought, they're not new, they are used, but they're new to me. I buy them for $2, which is an awesome price, $2 plus shipping for 4 curtains, I think. And I'm gonna use them for this kind of stuff, and also for my journaling and booking, not for my booking at all, for my journaling and junk journaling and card making and stuff like that. I use a lot of lace in all kinds of ways. Did I even show you, by the way? Oh, I'm gonna put these away before they break. They are so fragile. They can't be out in the open like this. I'm sorry. Did I even show you the lace that I dipped in coffee? I don't think I showed you that one properly, the difference. So this one is one that I dipped in coffee. These are the ones that I left between the papers, and they hardly took any. And let me see, where did I put the yeah, here it is. And here is one that hasn't had anything. So you see, it's like 3 different shades. So this one I dipped in coffee and put in with the paper. This one I put dry in the paper, and these are the original color. And it is kind of a cream color already, but I really like this one. I really like this. I never used a fixative on the fabric on lace when I coffee dyed it, but I saw a video the other day that said you should, because if this gets wet, it's gonna, leave coffee stains. I don't know. I never used a fixative. Have you done that? Have you used a fixative for your papers and your laces when you dye them with coffee and tea? I never did that, but maybe I should look more into that if it's like a really smart thing to do. Now, I know when I use glue with this, the glue I use tends to suck out some of the color, and the glue gets kind of brownish. But since I'm using brownish and tainted grungy papers and fabrics, it doesn't really matter to me. But maybe I should look into that, because maybe I want more contrast one day. I don't want my glue to turn brown. Then yeah. So maybe I should look into that. Let me know if you used any type of fixative when you dyed your fabrics or your lace. Or let me know what you used, and maybe I can look for that. Anyway, that was all for today. Oh my goodness, I blabbed for almost 45 minutes. I bet, do you see the mosquito? I have a mosquito visiting. We have a ton of mosquitoes. We have a mosquito year this, oh, I got tangled in the headset. We have a mosquito year this year, so it's really fun. Loads and loads of mosquitoes. So anyway, that was all for today. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Let me know what you do and how you're doing it in the comments down below, or do as you normally do and shoot me a message on Instagram. Instagram will be in the comment section, not in the comment section, in the description box. There we go. See, I can do it. I can do it. I can talk. If you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe and all of that. Or don't. You do you. I'm gonna keep pressing this, fill this book up, and then it's time for bed, because it's almost 1 a.m. and I'm really tired. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye.